Okay, let me do a quick check. Yeah. Let me make you co-host first, just in case I get kicked out because of internet connection. Yeah, so
Okay.
these are some of the things to denote. Are you
Okay.
live
Not
on
that.
Facebook? Hello, parents. This is Coach John here from Learning Out of the Box. And today I have a very good friend, a friend who I have known for, I think, about more than 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And
2000.
the reason why I brought her up is because she was a very experienced social worker, and she used to head a family service center. And now she's the co-founder and therapist of Chryseos Health, bracket integrated mental health practice. Hello, Dawn.
Hey, hello, Zhongren. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now it's very rare to hear friends who call me 中人.
Ah, oh yes, your Coach John.
Yeah, it's fine because I think
Yes,
those and the names that you use will tell me when you start to know me.
yes, yes.
Okay, just so for this sharing, you can call me John.
Okay, yes, Coach John.
Just John will do lah. Coach makes me sounds like too formal. All right,
Uh,
Don. I think many parents may not know about you, so could you share with us like your backstory? And I know that you're a mother of two as well, and one of the reasons why you quitted from your job was that is to spend more time with your kids, and you plan to homeschool your kids as well. Yeah, so lots of
mhm.
things to cover here.
Yeah. Okay. In a nutshell, my husband and I recently set up an integrated mental health practice called Chryseos Health.
Mm-hmm.
We call it integrated because we believe in adopting a holistic approach to helping people who are troubled by mental health issues. Yeah, so that
Mm-hmm.
means we address issues of the body, the mind, the emotions, as well as the spirit. Yeah, so that's now. Before this, I actually spent 14 years as a social worker. I started off with youth work, and then I also did some counseling work at the courts. And then I went to a family service center to work. And then my past life before that, I was actually a newspaper journalist. So I actually did a career switch where I met Mr. Zhong Ren, where we were doing our studies together in social work. Yeah, so that's the professional front. For personal front, this year I started homeschooling my older older daughter. She's
Mm-hmm.
3 years old. Yeah. I mean, the reason for that was also because I thought that if I could just help her spend more time with her, build her character up, and also help her to think more critically about things before she enters the system. Maybe it could help her to be more entrepreneurial. Yeah, not so conformist lah. At least she knows how to make decisions critically for herself. So that
Mm-hmm.
was that's one of the reasons why I decided to homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my backstory.
Oh, okay. And there's one more thing that I want to ask you because I also know your growing up years, but I think many people they do not know. And one of
Mm.
the things that I have always told you that I look up to you because your English is very powerful, very powerful. Yeah, and it's so nice to hear. And when you speak, it sounds so gracious. Yeah, but I think it would be nice to hear from you like how was your growing up years like, and how your mom actually help you by not coaching you, but finding help. Yeah, but by helping to find you a very good tutor.
Okay. For
Yes, yes.
English, right, my mom was my tutor because
Oh,
my mom doesn't know how to speak Mandarin because she learned Malay
ah,
and yeah, and she was brought up in an English educated family. So
oh,
naturally, she speaks English very well. And
ah,
then she always brought us to Bedok Library when I was young. I would go to Bedok Library all the time to borrow a lot of books. Yeah, so I think the natural environment helped me a lot. But for tutoring, because she cannot speak Mandarin, right? Yeah, I think my mother was very forward thinking in terms of hiring a tutor for me in Chinese because she told the Chinese tutor not to do any assessment books with me, cannot do things here also. Basically, tutor just come right and speak with me in Mandarin And my tutor was very interesting because she was a Taiwanese lady.
Mm-hmm.
She would bring jokes, funny articles, all in English, right? Then she'll bring to me, then she'll ask me to translate to Chinese. Yeah, then I thought that was very enjoyable because I like to read the jokes and the funny articles. Then I would translate them willingly. Then she also taught me, Chinese calligraphy, 书法. Yeah, so she
Wow.
did everything that was not in the mainstream curriculum, which was why it really helped me to develop a love for Chinese.
Wow. And I think when the kids, I mean, if the kids can hear that there's no homework or things here or spelling, or I think they will jump for joy. Yeah, they will like go, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, okay. I think first of all, I also want to ask you about how was your experience as a social worker's head, because I think I also knew that you work closely with the parents and the school teachers. So I think a lot of times the parents may not be able to understand what's going on in school, and I want to use this chance to help the parents to bridge their knowledge to what's happening in school and what are the things that they can look out for to support their kids better.
Okay.
Mm,
First and foremost, because I'm in social work, so every time the schools work together with us, right, it's not for academic issues. It's actually for psychosocial issues,
yeah.
which are actually very important because if the child's mental and emotional and social well-being is taken care of, right, actually they flourish in school.
Mm,
Yeah. Then the academics, they just improve on their own, you see. Yeah. So I've personally for us, the kinds of issues that we helped teachers, parents, and students to deal with would be, things like truancy,
mm-hmm.
mental health issues like self-cutting, bullying, children who can't get along with their peers very well, etc. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure when you're checking in with me about our collaborations with the school, what exactly would you want me to share with parents?
Yeah, because there's so much stuff, right? It's
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of
bringing
stuff.
you back down, like it's a flash
Yeah,
back
a
of like
lot.
your past 14 years of good work and all the highs and the
Hopefully,
lows.
hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, I think what I want why okay, let me ask myself why I want to ask. Yeah, because I think there's a lot of times that parents may not know the truth. And what I mean by truth is I think that sometimes as an educator, even for myself, we try to sugarcoat some of the truth so that it's less it sounds less daunting to the parents. Yeah, but I think there are some parents who really want us to say the truth so that they know what's going on, and even sometimes the causes can be linked from home as well. And parents need to know like, oh, so as a mom or dad, so how can I uh, support my child? Yeah, and probably also some of the parents they tell me like, John, thanks for telling me because I didn't know this is happening at home as well, or what I'm doing as a parent actually unconsciously make my child feel less confident. And thanks for raising that up, because now I can know I'm more conscious about my words or my action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you brought up a very good point.
yeah.
Yeah, because it is true. I mean, if at home, let's say the children feel unsafe to share with their parents about some of their difficulties, then they feel safer to share it with their friends or their teachers in school, right? It is actually very helpful when the teachers can share with the parents so that, both parties can work together to help the child. Yeah. I find that the teachers and the school counselors who I've worked with, right, who very effectively communicate to parents what's happening to the children. Usually, these are the school personnel who adopt a position of trying to understand what the parents are going through, and
Mm,
also the non-verbals that they communicate, right, when they share the bad information. Yeah, the non-verbals they communicate show understanding and curiosity,
mm,
yeah, rather than a position of blaming and interrogating the parents about how come they didn't know that the child was facing this kind of difficulties. Yeah.
mm.
You want me to elaborate a bit more about like what are some of the essential factors?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Yeah, because I think
Mhm.
nowadays I feel that the parents are very smart and they have lots of info. And the reason why I am bringing all these experts up like yourself is really to because and I know all of you, and I think that all of you have done very good work, and I think it's my responsibility to bring out the right information from the practitioners who are ethical, so that the parents know that they can use all this right now and not question them, is this real or not, or can I trust this person or not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first and foremost, as okay, I mean, because all parents are human beings, right? So the moment you
Definitely.
receive a call from school, you're like, ah, you
What did she do wrong?
exactly, yeah. So it's a very natural thing that parents are already on the defense when they receive a call from
Okay.
school. Yeah. So actually, I feel that in this aspect, the teachers need to be the ones that initiate that position of empathy. Yeah, to know that when that phone call that goes through, right, you're going to get a parent who's on the defensive.
Okay.
Yeah, so teacher need to adjust the expectations lah of how parents will respond to them. Yeah, so once we clear that stage, the parents, right, who can hold themselves and say, okay, cool it, let's just hear first what the teacher has to say. Let's not jump to any conclusions, so that maybe there's really something that I missed out as a parent. I think parents who can ground themselves and hear out the teachers will be in a better position to collaborate with the school to help the child. Yeah. Also, I mean, this other thing that I'm going to talk about is more of like a negotiation process. Because sometimes the school may have one goal, but the parents do not agree with that goal. Yeah, and if both parties don't agree, right, then it's very difficult to like develop a plan to help the child. So I feel that in this process also the communication is very important. Yeah, if the teacher finds that parents are not very receptive, then the teacher needs to adopt. Like I say again, it's the position of curiosity. Like instead of asking, like, oh, why you didn't wake your child up to come to school? Instead of asking a question like that, maybe the teacher can say, oh, what kind of difficulties do you encounter in waking your child up for school? What kind of solutions, like Mr. Lee, what kind of solutions have you tried before that work or didn't work? Yeah, so these are some skills the teachers can have. Yeah, then parent here already will feel like, well, actually the teacher trying to understand me. The teacher also recognizes that I have been trying, but maybe I adopted a wrong method. Yeah. So there needs to be this negotiation process to break down the goal into a more realistic goal that both parties can meet to help the child.
When you say goal, could you like share a bit more? Because I think that for the parents to understand what are the goals, because I think all these are very social work terms, or even like when it comes to discussion or to find a common ground, all these are very big words to some of us. Like we don't use the word goals when we talk. We just vent out and we just go. But what?
Okay.
So when you say goal, what do you really mean?
Okay, so I give an example to illustrate. I'll probably be more concrete. So let's say the child has not been going to school regularly. Yeah. So if the teacher comes in and tells the parent that you need to get your child to school every day, this every day, right, may be a very unrealistic goal for the parents, because perhaps in the family there's a lot of multiple problems going on. Perhaps maybe father is out of job, maybe mom is depressed. Yeah. And they have more than one kid they have to take care of. So there are struggles to even wake the child up. Maybe they don't know how to put in a structure to help the child, you see. So what does the teacher or the principal or the school counselor can start with first is to check in with the parents. Okay, what is realistic? How many days per week is realistic for you to get the child to school? Yeah. So maybe the parent may say, give like, how about we try 3 days a week first? Is it okay? And really in my social work experience, there have been situations where actually schools, right? Some schools, they even allow the child to start off with 2 days per week first. Then slowly when the child goes to school, the teacher is there to encourage, the school counselor is there to find out, hey, what are some of the difficulties you had today when you got out of bed, can we help you a bit with that? As the child builds small successes, right, then the child gains more motivation to go to school. Then you increase it to 3 days per week. Then slowly increase to 4 days per week. Yeah, so that's what I mean by like breaking down the goals into something more realistic. Yeah. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, and it helps, yeah, because I think that and I'm surprised that it's fine to go to school only 2 days a week.
It depends on the school. Yeah, so
uh
really different schools have different kinds of expectations. Yeah.
yeah, great. Yeah, and I like the parts when you actually shared that do not ask why, because I think why, if you even if you ask a parent or a child, it put us on the defense side, like why do you do this, or why do you do that? And I think it comes it gives me a feel that like I did something wrong even though it may be right. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
guess that probably there's a common word that I also hear from parents themselves, like when they see their child doing something wrong or something that they disagree with, they'll say,
Yeah.
"Why do you do that? Why?" So end up you can see like the quarrels between them. I mean, the teenager and the mom. For the younger one, they will just shut up because they find that they cannot fight back. Yeah.
Yes.
So in your experience, so for parents to better communicate with the child, what are some of the other examples that you can give? Like maybe share with us so that the parents can actually like for example why it may be like too defensive. So what are other sentences? And I think we need to be careful in the sense of like because we are all trained and we attended a 3 years course for it.
Yes.
So for parents like, it's good lah, but you know, when I go home, everything just trigger me off. All the why will come in, and even though I heard a lot of things from Dawn, but I forget, I'll just ask why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I also ask a lot of why at home to my 3-year-old when I'm very
me
angry.
also.
Why you do this? I don't know how to answer you. Run away, cry. Yeah, it's true. In a home setting, it's very difficult to do that. So what I have personally tried, so I try to integrate what I learned in social work.
Yeah. That'll be good.
Yeah. Uh. Okay. I mean, recently also I have a few discipline issues with my girl, and then I found that I was shouting too much at her. Yeah, I was shouting too much at her, and one day I I saw her response to me, and it looked quite terrified. And then it suddenly hit me that, oh dear, I think what I need to do is I need to manage my emotions first when I'm angry. Yeah, so now when I'm angry with her, I actually will tell myself, I will say, stop, cool it. Yeah. And then if I cannot cool it, right, I will just tell her, I say, give me some time. I need to go and cool down for a while. Or I will just step away for a few minutes and just, talk to myself, and then I'll come back to her. Yeah, I find then after I have that space, right, even if it's just like a few seconds, it actually makes me not use the word why. So I will say, okay, come, tell me what happened just now. Yeah, it becomes tell me what happened just now. Yeah, so I find this is one tip that I've tried that when I keep practicing, right, it actually does get better. Yeah.
Yeah, probably I can share a bit what I did as well, because in the past I used to scream and shout. I mean, I'm a parent myself, so while parents know me as the very nice coach,
Yeah.
Coach John on Facebook, but when I'm at home, I'm a dad, and I'm also triggered by different emotion outbursts by my triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what I did differently this year, I'm not saying that every time I succeed, but to make myself look like another human being, actually I also step out. Yeah, I just take a deep breath and okay, never mind, I'll just walk off first. Yeah, I walk off and let my and one of my triggers shout lah. Yeah, and they always take turns to shout or scream or cry. Yeah, so I walk off first. I think it works because and I can also see a change in the mood of my eldest child, because in the past I used to scream and shout, but sometimes my children saw me walk off, they were like, oh, so Papa now didn't scold. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it also affected them in such a way that, because sometimes when they try to take up the parent role to discipline the younger one, I see less shouting as well, and they start to go up and find out what happened first. So I thought that one was a surprise for me also.
Yeah. So they role model after you. So they really observe.
Correct. So I better say. So I told myself I better behave well also.
Yeah. Same. I want to add a follow-up step to that, because
Yep.
actually So after I manage my own emotions and reduce my yelling, right? Then I decided to spend purposeful time with her. I actually drew out on a piece of paper. Yeah, it's very social worky. I never thought about doing this before until
Social
recently when
worky.
I
Oh, that's a new word.
but yeah, it worked. It worked. When she has her meltdown, she actually yells very, very loudly. It's really very loud, and it really disturbs the neighbors. So
Yes.
recently, I drew a picture of her with a lot of tears coming out, and then she's fiery red, right? Then I drew three scenarios. I drew one is Papa
Okay.
cannot think. Then another one I drew the neighbors
So
are
Papa
all looking
cannot,
very.
Papa cannot what? Sleep.
Papa cannot think.
Oh, cannot think. Okay. Okay.
Whenever she yells, then my husband will get very vexed, like, stop it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The third scenario was my baby gets a shock. So I actually spent about half an hour just talking to her about it.
Yeah.
And then we pasted it on the wall. Then very interestingly, she keeps going back to look at the wall, looking at it. Then I tested it to see whether it worked. So I brought her out in the stroller one day, and then she complained again. Very hot, very hot. Yeah. Then I said, hey, remember Mama talked about how your screaming will affect the different people. Can you just stop screaming now? And she stopped.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
and it has happened three times in the last 2 days after I started this drawing with her. So I
Wow.
mean, I feel from the beginning step is the parents take a time out, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
after that, you follow up to help your child to take the perspective of other people because even as a 3-year-old, she can take perspective, which is amazing. You just need to just keep training, yeah, and explaining. Yeah, just a tip,
Yeah, yeah, and it sounds to me like it's a link back to the visual sides.
Yes.
Like so now it happened, and then do you remember what we discussed earlier? And sometimes children they may not remember the adult words that we use, and probably we talk to them for hours, but they remember that one picture that
You're
Mama
right.
spent time drawing it with me, and that's the one thing that I took interest in, and I went back. So there's like a some sort of like a like a link between the meltdown to what can prevent or what should I do now.
Yeah, exactly. So in this way, we are equipping her. I'm equipping her with skills,
Mm,
which is very important in helping them to regulate their emotions. Mm.
yeah. At the same time, I think I also want to use this chance because I know that because you have worked with families and teens. I think it's more of teens and also kids lah. Yeah, for the
Yeah.
past 14 years. So and I want to ask, so what are some of the different ways that parents can take on? Because probably the parents say now this work for your young kid because they are still very young. Yeah, but my kid is all grown up in primary school. And maybe when you
Yeah.
can share like maybe three tips, and then you can go on to like teenagers because some of the children are going to set one and set two soon. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
can you share like in blocks
The three tips
for
for
primary
what
school
purpose?
lah? Three tips that parents can use right now for okay, let's say for P1 to 3. Yeah,
Okay, to help
so
them to do.
to
Mm.
self-regulate.
Oh, self-regulate.
Mm.
Wow. Three
Can be
tips
anything lah,
for
can be anything. Mm.
uh okay. Okay. Well, one tip would be what we call let me see,
Yeah. By the way,
grounding.
do you want to mute down mute one of your the messages in your I think it's in your desktop or laptop because I can hear the
Okay,
tuk, 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 the notification sound.
hold on.
Is your WhatsApp on inside your desktop or laptop that you're using right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
there's always this
done.
sound notification. Great.
I think it's muted.
Great. Thanks.
Mm,
Yeah.
hopefully, I did
Yeah.
right then.
And let me share why I want to ask is because I think many parents in our Facebook group they actually apply what we share, and they say it works. Yeah, so I think my purpose here is to break it down into actionable steps for them.
I see.
Yeah, so they can tonight I can try it with my kid, and wow, I didn't know that my kid can cool down and because I cooled down, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, so for primary school kids, actionable tips, say 3 tips, right? Yeah.
give
So
me
the
more if
first
you
tip,
want. We can share 100 tips if you want. I will copy
oh,
them
okay.
down.
Yeah. Okay. First tip will be what, which I think is really important, which is what we just talked about.
Mm,
Parent needs to take time out. Yeah. So your timeout can be just telling yourself, hey, cool it, or
mm,
hey, breathe. Okay. So that's one.
okay.
Second tip is actually this one, right, you need to really test it out with your child to see what really works, because every child's personality is different. So in the books, right, they will tell you, oh, teach your child to count 1 to 10
Mm,
so that they can cool down. This one doesn't work with my daughter.
mm,
She's like,
yeah.
what? It's nonsense. Yeah, but for my friend's 3-year-old, it really works. She will really count 1 to 10. Okay.
Mm,
For my child, what I do when she has a meltdown is I'll tell her, if you really need to cry very loudly, can you please go to your room right now, close the door, and just cry. When you're ready, come out of the room. Yeah, it works. Yeah, because she really needs space, and for no one to go and irritate her. So that's one thing. I mean, a parent can try if your child is like mine. Okay.
mm,
Third actionable tip for regulating emotions. Okay, this one is also very important. You have to educate your child on the vocabulary of emotions.
mm,
Yeah, because if they don't know how to say how they're feeling, then it's all gonna come out in behavior. Yeah, so even as young as when my daughter was, I think, 18 months to about 2 years old, I would actually show her very simple pictures of, oh, this is a happy face, this is happy.
mm,
Picture of a sad face, this is sad. Yeah. I mean, 4 basic feelings for toddlers are happy, sad, scared, mad. Mad is angry. Yeah. I think if
mm.
they can identify these 4 as a very young child, it's very good. Oh, sorry, I went back to toddlers. See, I keep thinking about my
No, it's fine.
daughter.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. I think it's the same also across the years, because I think a lot of times I
Yeah.
feel that, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of times that even adults, we do have meltdown as well. And one of the
Mm,
some of the one of the reasons thinking back in my own experience is actually I do not know what I'm feeling at all. It could be a mix, and it's happening
yes.
so fast that sometimes we do not know how to cope with it. That it's just an outburst of energy, or more to be more clear, is negative energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good that you brought up this point too. Now I use that to transit to teenagehood. Yeah.
Mm,
So in teenagehood, right? So the one actionable tip would be also the same: develop a vocabulary for the emotions. But because they are emotionally more mature, and they are able to understand that their feelings are more complex, right? Like you mentioned, parents, as they talk to their teenager, can actually identify their whole complexity of emotions. So it could be, okay, let's say their best friend their best friend don't want to friend them anymore. Best friend left them. Yeah. Um, there are many emotions. It could be shock, together with sadness, together with disappointment, and maybe even relief, because maybe that friendship was very not healthy.
mm,
The child actually felt very burdened in that relationship, and then once that relationship was gone, actually there's a kind of relief inside also. So
mm,
if parents can help the child to just talk about all these, the complexity of it, it actually helps the child to better regulate his or her emotions. Yeah. Okay, so that's one. Second actionable tip for teenagers. Let me
yeah,
see.
yeah.
In my youth work at that time, ah this it's actually very, very basic things, like go and take a drink of cold water.
Ah,
Go and take a drink of cold water, or uh, uh, go yeah. Teenagers love to listen to music. Can you go and listen to your favorite playlist? And then they do it.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So once you have so parents can say, okay, go do it. Once you have cooled down, come back, let's talk. uh,
mm,
maybe they can set like a time frame also, like say, okay, how about because can talk right, with a teenager. How about we give each other 1 hour, okay, to cool down, or half an hour cool down. You go listen to your music, I go cool down as well. 1 hour later, we come back again and we talk. That's also another way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it helps also because I think for teenagers, I would say that in my own experience, some primary school kids, they already exhibit the behavior of a preteen, like maybe primary 5 and primary 6. They are behaving like teenager, and I got one at home. Yeah. So sometimes she has her days with bad mood. So I say go and, I mean, I don't use the word go to your room. I mean, that sounds really harsh, like being grounded, but I say, okay, you can do whatever you want now. I mean, whatever you like. And then later we'll talk.
Yeah.
So she'll just storm off, and then but later you realize that she'll do her origami, or she'll listen to music, or she'll just read her book, or just go and sleep. So I think it opens up an array of choices. Like, you decide what you want to do, as long as you like it, then you'll come back to it again later.
Yeah. So I mean, using this scenario also, linking to a third actionables tip, right?
Yep.
During this time out, the parent actually needs to manage his or her anxiety also about wanting to know what's happening to the child. Yeah, because I mean,
Very hard also sometimes.
Yeah, correct. But it's very real because you want to know what's happening. You want to help. You want to resolve the conflict.
Yeah.
But your daughter or son is not ready. So parents need to go and chill, do something, distract themselves. Yeah.
Probably I can add on to what works for me in my family, and I hope that some parents can just tweak it to your own needs. I'm not saying that this is the best way, because while this may work for you, but it may not work for me. While it work for me, it may not work for you. So you have to tweak it. Yeah. So there's a rule in my house that says we have to resolve the conflict within the same day. So I started to drill into them since they were very young, and I told them that even when Mama, Papa, we have conflict as well, and we do share in the family. It has to be settled within the same day. And again, I go a bit deeper down because I think we are both trained in social work practice for many years. Yeah. So I say that we are dealing with the conflict, the matter, and at the base, we still love you. Papa, Mama still love you. Yeah. So I think it's very important to share the intention as well, that because we love you, that's why we want to settle the conflict. And a lot of times, I think even in most families that I work with in the past, we don't share the intention, and a lot of times it's always goes back to love for the person. Yeah, but I think that a lot of times, being a parent myself, sometimes I realize that it's quite hard to share it because I love you. That's why I want to help you. You know, sharing the love part is so hard. Yeah. So from your experience, what are some of the words that the parents can use to exhibit love if they find that it's a bit hard to say that, hey, dear, I love you. It's very hard to say.
Okay. For families who find it hard to say that love.
Yeah. Because maybe when they were younger, their parents also don't say that I love you. I can use cane to show lah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because if you say I you know, there's the Chinese saying that says I love you, that's why I hit you, right?
Yeah. Like, huh?
Cannot. I mean, I find it contradicts because the thing about caning is so painful. What do you mean you love me? You know, that's not the definition the child has.
Yeah. 打是爱是吗? I mean, in Chinese words, so hit is love.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, your question was what are some of the helpful words to say to a child to show that you actually love them?
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, let me see whether I can find an example. Okay. I can only illustrate this with an example. So recently, I was trying to teach my daughter also how to respect her grandmother because she was rude to her grandmother.
Oh.
Yeah, she was rude to her grandmother. So it came to a point, grandmother picked up a toy from the floor, put it on the table. Then my daughter actually took the toy and threw it on the floor. Yeah. So this one is definitely no in the house, right? Immediately I told her, stop eating, come down. Okay. Then I said, this one, you need a spanking for it because you are disrespectful to your grandma. And in this house, I said it like that, but I said it very groundedly, not like, ah, like that. I just said, this is very yeah, this is very disrespectful. In this house, we have to be respectful to grandma. Okay. Then I mean we have this like wooden paddle lah. Then I just spanked her backside once
Sure.
like that. So of course she cried already. Okay, so this is discipline already, right? Then the love part, right? You have to explain to her after her crying has subsided and she has cooled down. Then I took her aside and I explained to her. I said that the reason that I have to teach you about respect is because I want you to be a person that shows care and love for people. When you do something like that, you hurt your grandma. Okay, so that's the reason why mama had to punish you. Then of course, as a child, right, they hear, but it hasn't really reached the heart yet because they are only at the point of compliance, but not to the point of I really want to honor my grandma. Yeah, but I feel that you need to start with that behavior first. Then, as you start explaining and modeling, I have to model that respect to to her grandma. As I model and as I continue to explain, whatever that she hears in the mind will connect with her heart, and that's when it's really sincere. So yeah, that's how I would explain that love. It's actually a series of words and actions and role modeling and the process.
Yeah, and I totally get you, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Probably for me, just to better support my parents, let me break it down into 3 simple steps.
Okay, sure. You're
Because
the teacher.
I do maths now, so my parents ask me, so John, how you solve this question? Blah 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 blah. Then they said, sorry, I don't get you. Okay, never mind. Let me break it down into 3 simple steps for you.
Sure.
First step, you have to spank. Yeah, I mean you punish you punish the kid for the misbehavior. You have to be very clear on that. Yeah, and sometimes I know that some parents, they do not have the habit of spanking their kids because they think that cannot lah, this is wrong. It's okay, but I think there must be some form of so-called, can I use treatment or action for the misbehavior? Yeah, because you need to correct the behavior because it is not accepted even in the public as well. I mean, we don't go anywhere and just take a toy and just throw on the floor.
Yeah,
the police will catch you. I mean, that's what we told to kids as well.
Yeah.
So the second simple step will be what? To explain, right? To explain. Yeah. So now got part 2, like the main menu and then the dessert. The dessert is like it's like sweet stuff, right? So you need to tell her the sweet things. Okay. So I hit you because I love you. Then the parent like, what? No, okay, because I want you to grow up into someone who respect others.
Yes, who shows care, who shows care and love for others.
Correct. And I think the third part is for my girls, and it works very well. It's always a hug, because the hug resolves all the grievances. Because I think even for myself right now, I feel I mean, you knew that I lost my dad when I was very young. Last time my dad used to hit me a lot, really hit me a lot with his hands. Yeah, and when he used the ruler or the feather duster, you'll break one. So his hand is still the best. I mean, as I'm sharing now, I can still feel the hurt there. But I think for my girls, I want them to resolve the grievances, like they don't feel bad about it. So for girls, I think guys also, they need hugs. It's not just for girls.
Yes, I agree.
Daddy, please hug me.
Yeah, I like your last point. Yes, the hug is important to show at the end of the day, hey, I still love you, because it's not about you, the person, it's about your behavior.
Yeah. And one more tip to add on before, because I think you still miss out, or I think that you can still share a bit more for the primary school kids. Yeah. One more tip for me to add on is there's one time that my one of my 3 kids got a very huge meltdown that lasted for 4 hours.
Wow.
So actually we were already like going to the door to go out already. I mean, to go for a celebration. But because of that, wow, okay, never mind. And I don't say which girl. in case next time she watches again, she say, Papa, why you doing to me? Then I'll got another hurt. Okay, never mind. Okay, so what I did when she had a meltdown is I hugged her for 1 hour. That's all.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the other girls, okay, I gotta be very careful with my words. The other girls and my wife also went into the room to just give her some space. I hugged her for 1 hour, still wearing my shoes and my socks. And she cried until all my shirt all tears and all with the
Mucus.
the mucus. So I hugged her for 1 hour, and I think that was one of the best, the turning point for her. That was the biggest meltdown that she had, and later she mellowed down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, good job, John.
Yeah, I mean, we do whatever it takes, really. Instead of just trying to shoo her, go ground her and go to a room. No, I mean, it doesn't work. It makes the matter worse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Parenting not easy, huh?
Yeah. You can outsource parenting, would be good. Okay, could you because I know that you have lots of experience with the kids as well, so could you share 1 or 2 more tips for the parents who are very keen to really try it at home today?
Who are very keen to what? Sorry?
Try
at home.
Try it at home, because I think parents, they really want to transform their family to become better and happier as well.
Right. Well, okay, this one has got to do, because you actually did ask me, I mean, you texted me a question to say, what's some of the inner work that parents can do as an adult versus as a parent. Yeah. I actually thought about this question. I realized that we cannot separate both adult from parent, because you actually need to be whole as a person, right, in order to be a good parent. Yeah, because whatever that comes out from your mouth, whatever that comes out from your non-verbals and your actions are all come from within you. So I feel that parents actually need to identify their own fears and anxieties about their children that are barriers to the parent-child relationship. Yeah. Okay. Because if they don't, right, then all the anxieties and fears are going to come out as anger outbursts and ineffective ways of actually disciplining or providing support for the child. Yeah. So okay, I can give an example. It's like my decision to homeschool my older child was also something that had sparked a lot of anxiety in me, because I'm not a teacher. I don't know how to teach. Yeah.
You can ask me. Only for
Yeah,
maths,
so
only for maths.
yeah, next time I have to consult you, okay? Not only yet. Yeah, so for example, how do you even teach letters? How to teach Chinese characters? How to teach numbers? I don't know, you see. And I didn't realize that I had this anxiety within me. So when I first started homeschooling my older girl, it came out in very, very hilarious situations. So everything that I'm reading, right, with her, right, I always ask her, this letter, say or z. Until one day, this 2-year-old girl actually came to me and said, Mama, I don't want to learn. I just want to read. Then I said, hey, she's right. She can tell. She can pick up my anxiety, you see, even though I didn't tell her I was anxious. So I had to take stock, and I started to reflect on where this anxiety was coming from. And I realized it came back from my roots of my childhood. Yeah, because I attended very good schools, elite schools, okay? And we were very competitive. And I was always afraid that I would be left behind. So I can score A, B, right? But I may be the last in class. Okay? It's that kind of environment. And I realized that as I started homeschooling, I was afraid that my daughter would be left behind. Then I started to catch myself and say, hey, you okay or not? The reason why you wanted to homeschool is because you wanted to take her out of the very competitive system first, right? Now you are trying to make her catch up. Doesn't make sense. So I had to take stock. Yeah. So why I'm bringing this up is I feel that parents, once you identify your fears and anxieties, start to take stock about how it affects your parent-child relationship, how your child is reading your actions, and if it needs to change to improve the relationship, then you as a parent need to change your own expectations and perceptions first. Does that help?
Yeah. At the same
Yeah.
time, I think that doing the inner work
Yeah.
is really important, plus also very hard for someone who is not trained, because I think there's a lot of times when we see in the public, like there are some things going on, it's also because it links back to the human being exhibiting that kind of behavior that is deeply rooted to their childhood. I mean, that's how I see it. Yeah. So okay, could you help us to define in your own context what is the meaning of good parent? Because to a parent who is doing what they are doing best, and what they're doing may be different from the other parents, but to both of them, they see themselves as good parents. Yeah. So in your own context, what do you mean by good parents? And also another question will be okay, inner work. I feel that from my experience of working with adults, it's very tough for someone to even be aware that, hey, I need to do inner work right now. Yeah. So I think let's put it in simple steps. How can parents start to ask themselves or even journal down? Yeah. So got two questions lah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Parents are sorry. Yeah, because you know why I'm asking Dawn such hard questions. Because she's one of the smartest person I've ever met.
No lah, parents.
See, no lah. See, no lah again. No lah again. Very humble as well. No lah.
Okay, I won't argue with you. Continue, please.
sorry. Yeah. And she has I think because she has lots of experience working with families. Yeah, so I thought that it'd be good to hear from you as well. Okay, would you be able to define for us in your own context what is the meaning of good parents? Good parents.
Wow, so your question is very chim.
Yeah, very chim. Yeah, because I think I'm also trying to be a good parent, and I will take some things from you to apply into my own life as well.
Okay, there's just two words there in my mind.
Yeah.
First word is attunement.
Chima, what's that?
Okay, attunement means you need to attune means tune in, not like as in sync. In sync.
In sync.
Yeah. So tune in. So you need to be tuned in to your children's emotional needs.
Got it.
Yeah. So even if your child may be there, that your child doesn't say I'm sad, but by looking at her, her eyes, looking at her body posture, you can tell that something is going on. That is attunement. Okay? Yeah. For that to happen, a parent will really have to spend quality time with the child. And that's the whole point about being a parent, you see. I mean, yeah, you need to spend time with your child. Okay? So that's one. The second word that comes to my mind is discipline. Discipline not as in punishment, but discipline as in really teaching your child skills, to regulate their emotions, how to make wise choices in life, and if they are not able to do so, to set consequences for them, so that they have certain boundaries that they can work with to be a contributing adult, a contributing adult, someone who can get along with people, because at the end of the day, it benefits them and it benefits the people that they are with as well. So simple enough?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's such a big word. Yes, tune in as well as discipline.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. What's the other one that I want to ask? I forgot the question already.
I also forgot.
Yeah, let me try to think. Great. I think I suddenly was quite blown away by your attunement until I forget what I want to ask. Okay, I think. Oh yeah. The inner work part. Yeah, the inner work part. Because I think that in the midst of busyness, sometimes that's what I've seen even in my own life as well. The basic of self-care, like even stopping to breathe, or even like there are some mummies who told me that, John, I miss those days that I can hang out with my girlfriends, as in their girlfriends, like just to chit chat. Wow, now with my 3 kids running around the house, I don't have time to breathe, and I think that's it's a bit unhealthy in a sense of the parents still need to have like short blocks of time to stop and even to think about. So how can I improve? Yeah, so there are many steps, like first to breathe and then to reflect. Some parents don't even have time to stop. Yeah. So
Yes.
what are some of the things that, because I really want to help the parents in the sense of, so what are some of the simple steps that they can use right now? Like, okay, I heard from Dawn that I need to reflect, but first, what can I do right now?
Yeah, you're right about this, especially
Mm,
in Singapore. We
yeah.
are also different. It is very hard to actually stop to reflect. Um, okay. First, learning to speak like John, the teacher. First, you need to be aware that you have to stop,
mm,
to stop to reflect. Yeah, because if
mm,
you're not even aware, then there's no point going further. Yeah. Okay. And that with that awareness, there has to be a reason tied to it. Why do you need to? Yeah, and usually, right, the why is because something wrong is happening at home,
mm,
or something is happening to you, and you feel you need to get it right. Okay, that kind of discomfort. Okay. So number two, um, as a busy parent, okay, I mean I have 2 children. I'm definitely not as busy as those with 3 or 4 children, but I now don't have a helper. I have to do everything by myself. I have a newborn, then also
mm,
with this business that I'm doing.
mm,
How I do it right is, okay, I have the benefit of a husband who's very involved. Okay.
mm,
Okay, so let me separate these 2 scenarios. Some have husbands that are involved, some don't have.
mm,
Okay. So those who have husbands that are very involved, you need to work out an arrangement with your spouse
mm,
to give yourself some space. So it could be, dear, for this half hour, I just need to sit down and breathe my essential oils. Can you take the kids for a while? Okay, then just go and do it. Yeah. Or dear, I need this 15 minutes just to journal. Or just to think about why I got crazy just now, why I became crazy. Can you please take the kids? Okay.
mm,
Right?
mm.
Right? Okay. So you see, it can be just 15 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, now for those people who do not have the benefit of having an involved spouse, whether they are single parents or the spouse is just very busy working,
Mm, mm.
this one is a bit tough.
Yep.
I would suggest if they do have an extended support network, they could try to tap on the extended support network,
Mm-hmm.
you know, mother-in-law or mom, just one half an hour, 1 hour is actually good enough. Then try to make that a regular practice. Can be just you start small, don't be ambitious now. Just start
Mm,
once a week, half an hour, once a week, half an hour. Then once there's the rhythm, the kids get familiar with that kind of routine, then you
mm.
can do a bit more. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Great.
Mm.
Yes. What I'm hearing is also on on top of the inner work of oneself. I also hear like the support system is very important. As in,
Yeah.
who are the supporters? It could be within the family or outside the family.
Yeah, your friends, yeah. Childcare. Mm.
Yep. Yes. I think I also want to just chip in. Because I also hear from some of my friends who are mummies, and they have this group of friends who are mummies as well with young kids. So what
Mm.
they do is every weekend they will just, I wouldn't say dump the kids in someone's house lah. I would say that it's like, okay, so this weekend is going to Auntie's Pamela's house. So all the
Ah,
kids will be there, and then the mommy can just hang around in the room and just chit chat. Then next weekend will
yeah.
be in Auntie Annie's house. Okay, so the kids will be busy in their own world playing, and then the girlfriends will come together and just chit chat and just to vent. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah,
Yeah, great.
yeah. And the other thing that I thought was interesting is even now there's no need to physically be in other people's house. One of them just on on the TV, and it's a Zoom meetup. Yeah, so the kids were all looking at each other on TV, and maybe they're just doing their own clay kit or doing their own art and craft. While it takes some time away from, so the parents can take some time away from the kids and do their own things at home.
Oh, the kids are through Zoom. They are doing clay art together.
Correct.
Hey, that's a good idea.
And there's a mom who's a friend as well, and she jaga everyone. Yeah, so she that 1 hour is, hey, she engaged the kids.
Wow, that's very, very good support. Yeah, this group of friends has.
Correct. Yeah. And one more way to help mummies, just in case sometimes, okay, I know that some mummies have very supportive spouse. And I think to have a supportive spouse at home is a blessing. Yes. At the same time, I think there are some parents, I feel that sometimes, to be fair to the other spouse, it's not because the spouse is not supportive, it's he or she may not how to support. And sometimes it just takes like telling them why and how to do it helps to transform the family. So what I teach the mummies as well is go to your husband, always share the intention.
Okay.
So your husband say, dear, I have something to talk to you. And the reason why I talk to you is because I love you and I need to talk to someone who I can really trust.
Oh, I also feel very good already.
Yeah, then the husband is like, okay. I mean, most will say okay lah. If then the husband say no, I don't know how to help. Yeah, so sit down and I need someone who I can trust, and I only think of you. See? then
hey, is this what you ask your wife to say to you?
then you then you share what you want. And you realize as I'm sharing, this is what kids always do to the parents.
Yeah, I didn't know, right? The way to your heart, huh?
The kids will say, Mommy, I love you a lot. Then they tell you what, then you can ask, so what do you want?
Yeah, correct. Cushion it first. Then after that, say what you want.
Then
it's a good strategy. Yeah.
Then the kid will like, no lah. Actually, I only want this. Yeah. I don't think you would say yes, but I would just try and try. But Mommy, because I still love you,
Yeah. You're right about that.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So right now we are coming to the end, and I know that actually you have so much things to share. I thought we should extend for another 2 hours.
My baby is hungry.
Okay. Okay. At the same time, I think I just want to ask you one last question. Like, so many tips that you have shared. So what will be the key takeaway for the parents today?
Well, key takeaway would be spend quality time with your children to get to know them as persons.
Anything
Try
else?
No. That's because once you spend quality time with them, right, then you start to develop the emotional attunement to them, start to know what their needs are. And then that opens communication lines and a lot of other benefits in the relationship. So to me, that spending time is key.
Awesome. Yeah, at the same time, I think I also like the new venture that you are going to, and it's also to continue to help other people, because I think you have been the helping profession in the past 14 years, and now when you come out, I think the nature of the niche is the same. Yeah. So would you be able to tell us like what you're doing in Chryseos Health?
Yeah.
Let me just do a quick share. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. Would you be able to share with us like what is this about?
Okay. So can I control from my side or you control for me? Is it?
If you want to control on your side, you can do a screen share on your side. Do you want to do that?
Okay. No lah. Why do you do for me?
Then that'll be at a charge of $10.
Okay, I can buy it. Yeah.
Okay. Just
you can scroll down.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you can scroll down. So as I mentioned earlier, we actually are a mental health practice where we address the body, the mind, the emotions, and the spirit. Yeah. And it is actually our service is targeted at people who are troubled by mental health issues. But we are excluding those who have addictions. So addictions will be a separate issue altogether. We don't serve that clientele.
Mm-hmm.
We provide psychological counseling as well as nutritional supplementation
Mm-hmm.
and basic fitness, to help the person in as a whole. On top of this, right, I've actually also started a blog. Yeah, so John, you can go to my menu which says blog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I actually write on this blog regularly because it actually helps to articulate my thoughts about our work, which is
Wonderful.
very, very big because we talk about psychological, emotional, social, nutritional, physiological, and a lot of other things. So this helps to shape my thoughts about my work, but also we want to build a community of people who are actually concerned about mental health. Yeah, so here I will share tips, I'll share my stories about my personal life, I'll share about what resources that other people have shared with me that I think are helpful to caregivers or people who have mental health issues, or even if you don't have a mental health issue, you just want to know how to manage your stress or your family relationships, you can just come to our blog and subscribe to our blog to get regular updates.
Mm-hmm.
So this post is about my daughter's swimming lesson, right? If you're interested, you can go to our blog and read it.
Mm. And that's at Chryseos, SEOS
Yes,
health.com.
yes, correct.
Okay, let me just take a look at the services.
Okay.
Okay, you're talking about this part, right?
Yeah, so we provide holistic therapy, yes, combining psychological counseling, nutritional supplementation, and basic fitness. We serve children, youth, and adults. Our therapy charges range from $120 to $150 per session, excluding the cost of nutritional supplements.
Mm-hmm.
You can give us a call for a free discovery chat to find out about our services. Our WhatsApp or mobile phone is over there, yes, and our email is as highlighted by John.
Awesome, great.
Hmm.
So parents, if you just want to get in touch with Dawn because you think that you need some more inputs, just drop her a text now. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Dawn, I still have one last question. Yeah, I got a lot of questions for you. So later I will send you a 100 question questionnaire for you to fill up before your lunch break. You can ask your baby to do with you. Okay. Just a last question. That I always ask my guests now. Okay, so I think as a mommy, you also need to know this now. Yeah, PSLE is always around end of September, but this year is beginning of October and it's coming soon. So the children are feeling stressed out. Whoa. Yeah, I mean that's why I think the anxiety will get higher as the dates nears. So can I invite you to walk down the memory lane from your older self to younger self? Yeah. So now of course I know that Dawn is still young. So you walk back to your younger self, the 12-year-old self. Yeah. Cannot say old. Cannot say old to younger. For ladies, I must say young to younger. Right. Yeah. So now as you walk down, you can see the 12-year-old Dawn, and Dawn is looking at you, and she's so close to you that you can almost touch her on the shoulder. What will you say to the younger Dawn? Can be anything, no right or wrong. Parents, this is inner work.
I know, right? I'm feeling a bit of tears coming to my eyes as you say that.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so talking about the tears. Yeah, I mean, can be anything lah. Yeah. Okay, Dawn is someone who is very confident. Yes,
No,
that's what. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, that's the reason why I brought Dawn online. Yeah, she's very inspirational. I feel, as well as a person I respect a lot. Okay.
Lauren tells me this all the time. He's really very nice to me. Okay?
What again? What?
I said, Zongren, you tell me this all the time. You are really very nice to me.
Oh, okay. Is it? I can't remember. Okay, never mind. So back to your younger self. So what will you tell?
I will tell my 12-year-old self, don't take the PSLE so seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the education system, was something that was very stressful for me because I actually did very well in my PSLE, and I went to all the elite schools. But as a result of that, it created a lot of unnecessary stress for me as I was trying to find my identity. Yeah. So I wish that I could have taken the PSLE not so seriously. Yes.
But does that mean don't study?
No, not don't study. As in,
Lucky so,
you
yeah.
have to study because you're already in the system, right? You cannot don't study, don't get your cert. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish not so don't study, as in, but this is not up to me as a child, because as a child I am governed by my parents, the school, the authority figures who decide for me what's good for me in the education system. But if I really had a choice, I would want to do things that I enjoyed learning. Like I'm a very arts kind of person. So like for math, right, I would need someone like you, John, to inculcate love of math in me, because I memorized my way through. Yeah.
Okay.
So like physics, I never understood what is physics, what. But that's why homeschooling sounded very appealing, you see. At least I can slow down with my child and start to explain to her the applications to real life, rather than just force myself to learn from textbooks. So it's a pity. It's a pity I couldn't inculcate the love of learning for certain subjects. But well, that's life. Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, I think as a friend, as you're sharing this, there's nothing that should stop you now from pursuing what you like, as you're reflecting back.
Yeah, so actually starting Chryseos Health, right, is also in a way pursuing something that gives me freedom to do what I like. Yeah, I have more breathing space. I can reflect a lot more. I can attend to my family. So I think currently I'm in quite a good space, I would say.
Great. Yeah. I think for parents who are still watching this, I think that not many of us have the luxury to be able to detect what our space should be. Yeah. But again, if you really think that the current space that you are in right now needs to change because you feel high stress every single day, the next thing, okay. Stress, when you face stress is S, right? So you need a space. Yeah. The next S, okay, 3S step, okay, 3S or 3 step will be the third S is to get your support. Turn to your support for help.
What's the first and second?
Space.
Space. Stress, space.
The support, space that you have right now, if it's giving you stress, then turn to your support. Yeah. I mean, this is what I do lah. So I like to break things down easy for parents. Yeah. So
I must learn this from you.
Yeah.
I must have voice in my head.
Yeah, please. So turn to your support. And sometimes support is lacking. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's all this stress that makes us realize that the support is not there at all. Yeah. Or it can be, I feel that sometimes because of all this, when you start to ask, you realize that you have the support that you need and we didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yep. And to transform the space or to change the space, right, you need the support. So I think like what you have now, this is for your husband to hear. Your husband is the support that you need.
Woohoo! He's a very support. Yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. So the support, I mean, it's not just for your husband, also your mom and everyone around you lah. So to change your space, you need the support. Without it, I think it will just collapse.
I agree.
Yeah. So parents, this is 3S from Dawn. Yeah, I mean you can use it because I don't need it. Space, stress, support, very important. Okay, don't go off first. So thanks so much for your time. I know that I took you away from your kids, and I think it's quite nice not to hear any shouting from the other side. So
I prepared them early.
Huh?
I had to prepare my kids not to shout.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we're going to end off now, and thanks so much for your time. Don't go off first. We'll do a catch up after this. Quick one, okay?
Sure.
Okay, bye-bye, parents. Bye-bye. Enjoy your lunch.